afternoon, good morning, or good evening, because somewhere around the world, that's what time it is. You know who you're dealing with. Think you know what time it is. But you know before I start all that cursing, before I get into critiquing what's going on, we got to get into this. This show is taped live. And because of that, I'm telling you, put your fucking kids to bed. Don't have them up. Please do remember that the New Right Party channel and the New Red Party show is sponsored by patriots like you. And as long as you're sending these donations, it allows me to create the content that will continue to make these motherfuckers sick. As you were.
He's on fire!
First is the family and my family entertainment and his team no sleep. Flossy high and yeah we made it. The haters keep on hating on the songs that we be making, and I heard they want my soul. Illuminati wanna take it. First is the family and my family entertainment and his team no sleep. Flossy high and yeah we made it. The haters keep on hating on the songs that we be making, and I heard they want my soul. Illuminati wanna take it.
CEO, bullshit, paying for the pussy, I endorse it, riding through the city, that's my off.
So it would seem that the Democrats have been listening to us. It seems as if the Democrats have been listening to us because they understand that every time they tell you that they care about women, they really do not have a leg to stand on as long as they stand next to Hillary Clinton. Here's the thing. That bitch hasn't got the memo. Bill hasn't got the memo. Oh no, I'm lying. They got the memo, they just don't give a fuck since they're not the authors of the memo. So they're not paying attention to it. Funny though. We are.
That we suspect would bounce. We'll have details for you in just a minute. But first, Pocahontas is on the warpath this evening. For decades, as you know, the senator from Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren, has claimed to be an American Indian. Now, she did this to advance her career, and it worked. Harvard Law School once boasted that Warren was the first woman of color to ever serve on their faculty. Woman of color.
Do you understand what I'm saying, people? This bitch, Pocahontas, has as much Indian in her as my fucking two cats. They didn't even compare this bitch DNA to a Native American's DNA. This shit is preposterous. And then she gets to use this. This is the reason why the left does these things with these names so they can give you a box to put you in. See, now because this bitch got to lie and say that she was a Native American, it allowed her to become a minority. And because of this, it allowed her to gain certain things I don't feel minorities should get, to be honest with you. I mean, everyone has the ability to work hard at this particular point in time, to be able to work hard, to show how smart you are, and to outshine other people. This is just the nature of the world we live in, and it strives that way. It strives when individuals are compensated for excelling. But for somebody like this bitch, that's not the truth. No, this bitch is gonna lie and claim that she's something she's not, like every other fucking Democrat does. Promise you that. Like every other fucking Democrat does. And then they use that shit against the very same people that gave them the power in the fucking first place. Just so they can get more power, more money, more influence.
But Warren also used her fake Indian heritage to frame herself as somebody affected by America's sad history of racial discrimination. Warren posed as a victim because on the left, victimhood is power. Watch her do it.
My father's parents said, absolutely not. You can't marry her because she's part Cherokee and she's part Delaware. And after fighting it as long as they could, my parents went off. They eloped. So what I know about my parents is I know that in that little town they grew up in, that my father's parents knew enough about my mother and her family.
So then that's the fact that you're 1/32nd.
No, that doesn't tell you. Don't do that.
Well, why shouldn't I do that? But that is the fact,
no,
is it not?
No, it is not.
Why not?
It's not about the number.
Her own trail of tears.
Why is it not
Well, as
about
it turned
the number?
out, old Hiawatha couldn't come up with a single, not one American Indian in her family tree. The rest of the country laughed at her, and rightly so. And then this morning, Warren hit back at the rest of us. Out of nowhere, she produced a private DNA test that she claims confirms her story. Along with it, of course, she released a video that doubles as an ad for her presidential campaign. Here it is.
Now, the president likes to call my mom a liar. What do the facts say?
The facts suggest that you absolutely have a Native American ancestor in your pedigree.
I'm not enrolled in a tribe, and only tribes determine tribal citizenship. I understand and respect that distinction, but my family history is my family history.
And then she got to drag them old ass lying liberal motherfuckers in this lying ass so this bitch could sit there and lie in front of your fucking face and tell you that she's fucking Native American. The gall, people. The fucking gall, people. You know, I posted something on my Instagram today. Sidetrack, but let's get into it since we're here. Let's just do that. I posted something on my Instagram today. You know, Instagram took that shit down immediately. Ooh, they was mad, right? Let me show you. So this is the one that they gave me. And I reposted it. This is the video. It's not the video, it's a picture of the video. And it shows the views on the actor/comedian's page that I got it from, who's a good friend of mine. I'm going to go to it now. There we go. They take it down off of his too. Or maybe he took it down. He DM'd me and told me they didn't take it off of his. Or maybe they did after the fact. His was up for a long time. This is what liberals do, is jokes, and they make videos about it.
You got a picture of my nuts. I want to show you. I don't want to show nuts, but how shit is that? You want to look at it? Look at a man's nuts? Damn, bro, what type of shit you on? I want to show you some nuts. What are you getting so upset for? You're talking about some gay shit, man. Come on, bro. Oh, man, no, I don't do that type of shit, man. Picture of my nuts, though. It's really a picture of your nuts? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's funny.
You let me know if you think it should be cool. Yeah? You laughing at my...
But you know, people get hurt too. I ain't want to play it because I ain't want them to say how Sean Brown was on the show. Because the next thing was gonna happen, someone's gonna get hit. They must have removed it from his shit. They definitely removed it from mine as soon as I posted it. As soon as I posted it.
Well, so the senator concedes that she's not, quote, enrolled in a tribe. You may have guessed that. That fact is settled in any case. But what do the test results that she's produced actually say? Well, according to Warren, she may have had one unnamed and still unidentified Indian ancestor, not necessarily from North America, by the way, 8 or so generations ago, potentially. Now, that could make her less than 1/1000th American Indian. That's about roughly as American Indian as virtually every white person you've ever met, which is to say, not American Indian at all. So don't count on running into Elizabeth Warren at the next meeting of the tribes, but do count on her to keep pretending that she's somehow the spokeswoman for indigenous peoples everywhere. Warren has appointed herself head of the hashtag.
Because that's what liberals do. The liberals find ethnic groups, and then they label them, and then they put themselves as the head of the talking person for this group as if they found a new nation or some shit like that. Like they're sticking their flag on it, and they're like, now, I'm here, I claim these indigenous people or these people here or this group of people here that somehow we made up and gave our identity in the fucking first place when they're all fucking Americans. And I'm going to speak for them because they just can't speak for themselves. Meanwhile, Native Americans own casinos and all type of shit. They don't need this bitch at all.
Me Sue movement.
Native communities have faced discrimination, neglect, and violence for generations. And Trump can say whatever he wants about me. But mocking Native Americans or any group in order to try to get at me, that's not what America stands for.
No, hold on.
He's not mocking groups, bitch. He's mocking you. He's mocking you for pretending to be something that you are not. Fucking gall of these people, man. And they put this shit out there, and they expect us to be fucking dumb enough to sit here and believe this shit from these motherfuckers.
A minute. Who's mocking Native Americans? Well, if anyone's doing that, it's Elizabeth Warren. She's the one who's stolen their identity and leveraged their suffering to climb the greasy pole of our fake meritocracy. No High Plains whiskey trader ever acted with more ruthless cynicism than she has. And actual Indians are disgusted by it. The Cherokee Nation just this afternoon released a statement. They called Warren's claims inappropriate and wrong. Quote, it makes a mockery out of DNA tests and its legitimate uses, while also dishonoring legitimate tribal governments and their citizens. In other words, it's bad for Indians. So it looks like that backfired. But DNA tests aren't really the point, and we should remember that. It doesn't matter if Sacagawea is 1% Indian or 90% Indian. DNA should never matter, except to physicians treating inherited illnesses. Your bloodline should not dictate who you vote for, what job you get, where your kids go to school, whether you get promoted, or anything else. Our ruling class sends the opposite message. They believe in a racial spoils system. They tell you that your immutable traits, the ones that you had absolutely nothing to do with, are the most important thing about you. That is the very definition of racism. It's also a dangerous course for a country to take, especially right now. Increasingly, researchers know much more about DNA and the role that it plays in human life. It's not hard at all to imagine a society that degenerates into pure genetic determinism, with factions squabbling for entitlements based on their genes. It's already happening in Brazil, where race tribunals measure people's skull shapes to see if they qualify for affirmative action. Other countries throughout history, as you may have read, have done similar and horrifying things. Do you want to live in a place like that? No thanks. Better to stick to our ideals, where we do our best, not always successfully, but we try to treat people as individuals and judge them by their behavior, what they do, and not their ancestry. Under that system, Fraudazuma never would have bothered to make up a fake family tree. It would have been pointless. Harvard likely would have hired someone impressive in her place. Multiply that by every institution in America, and you'd have a better country. Now, Elizabeth Warren's video today included ample footage of news personalities ridiculing her claims about her heritage. Here it is.
What does Warren translate into Cherokee as? Spreading bull?
You know Elizabeth Warren, right?
Most people. Radio host Howie Carr was making war whoops in that clip, and he joins us tonight to make more. Howie, it's great to see you. So what do you make? I mean, you must feel a little chastened now that it turns out she's potentially one 1,000th American Indian. Are you retracting your mockery?
No, Tucker. If the Boston Globe was a legitimate news organization, the headline on the story would be something like "DNA test prove white woman," or DNA test confirms Senator Warren is still a fake Indian. I mean, this is ridiculous. All my life, Tucker, the Globe has been running a story every 6 years saying Senator Kennedy is turning his life around. Well, Senator Kennedy's gone, so now Elizabeth Warren is turning her life around. And they're trying to promote her. Last month they had an amazing story about how her ethnic fraud, claiming to be an American Indian, did not affect her meteoric rise in academia after she started checking the box. That didn't work. So now they're back with this today.
Now, let me just ask you, Tucker, as the only person really outside New England who ever looks at the Boston Globe, I always wonder, are they taking payment directly from her, or is moral payment that they? Why are they carrying water for a U.S. senator over there?
Well, I think she's part of the resistance, and
listen, as individuals and judge
1024 tonight.
Listen. She's not part of the resistance. People, we are the resistance. It is us. It is us going against what's the equivalent to fucking Skynet. I love this brother here, man, but he was wrong when he said that, and I was waiting for him to say it. He's wrong. We are the true resistance. Don't fucking forget that.
When the story came out, it said, well, she's somewhere between 132nd and 512th, which is not that great, but that was all wrong. They're used to fake news, but this time it was fake math. And it was really only 164th or up to 1,024. As soon as I leave here tonight, I'm playing the lottery. My number is 1024 tonight. But, the thing is, all the moonbats who love her, they've all posted the story saying she's 132nd, and this proves it. They didn't run the corrections. They had to run 2 corrections on the story. It was the fuzzy math until mid-afternoon. So, they're carrying water for her.
Has anyone ever asked the obvious question, which is, who cares? I mean, if she has one genetic makeup, does that make her a better person than if she has another genetic makeup? I mean, do we live in that country where you're judged by your DNA?
Tucker, I've been offering to pay for her DNA test for many moons. I offered to come up with my own wampum to pay for it, but she refuses. I mean, I think it's, she's playing on the white guilt. And I just want to mention this too, Tucker, another fraud that she's involved in, Pow Wow Chow. You're familiar with this cookbook? This is the one that This is the cookbook that she contributed to, all Indian recipes. And I think a chef prepared some for you. One of them is cold crab omelets with, very popular on the Trail of Tears back in the 19th century. Cold crab.
Actually,
it was lifted from a New York Times cookbook by a French chef.
We're actually recreating that recipe later on the show. Howie Carr, really the best thing about New England, joining us tonight. Thank you, Howie. Great to see you.
Thank you, Tucker.
Bill Jacobson has followed this story more closely and for longer than maybe anyone else. He's a professor at Cornell Law School. He blogs at Legal Insurrection, which you should read, and he joins us tonight. Bill, does this settle the story that you've been covering these many years?
No, it doesn't settle anything at all. In fact, it raises more questions. I mean, your viewers need to understand how deceptive Elizabeth Warren was in claiming Native American heritage, Native American ancestry. She did not claim it when she was a child. She didn't claim it for college. She didn't claim it for law school. She only claimed it when she was in her late 30s and beginning to climb the law school ladder, the law professor ladder from the University of Texas to Harvard. That's the only time she's ever claimed it. She never affiliated with Native Americans. She never helped Native Americans. She was never a faculty advisor for Native Americans. She got herself listed as Native American so she could be declared a minority law professor, and she did that when she was climbing the ladder, and we know why she did that. She can say whatever she wants, but everybody understands this is a woman who built her political narrative claiming that other people are rigging the system. She tried to rig her career by claiming a status to which she's not entitled.
But wait a second. The Boston Globe told me a little while back that claiming to be the first non-white female Harvard Law School professor had no effect at all on her ascent within Harvard Law School. She didn't get any benefit from that. Is that true?
Well, we don't know that because Harvard has never released her complete hiring file. What the Boston Globe had were documents Elizabeth Warren provided to her, documents a few other people provided to them. But to my knowledge, and I specifically asked their reporter this question and never got an answer, her complete hiring file was never released. So, yes, there may be nothing there, but does it really matter whether she benefited? She tried to benefit. She tried to get an advantage over other people by claiming a status to which she's not entitled. It's the worst form of cultural appropriation or misappropriation, which is a very hot topic in progressive circles. She tried to misappropriate the identity of one of the most victimized people in history, or at least in recent history, which is Native Americans. And progressives seem not to care.
And yet, without conclusive evidence, her lackeys in the press declared her innocent. Amazing. Professor, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Thanks for following that story. Up next, we have some major breaking creepy news alert, but tonight we want to be a little more direct. It's really a creepy porn lawyer alert. A federal judge has dismissed a defamation lawsuit that Stormy Daniels filed against President Trump. Not only that, the judge says that Trump is entitled to receive attorney's fees. That means, of course, that the creepy porn lawyer may have to cut the president, his self-described nemesis, a check. But don't get your hopes up too far. The check would probably bounce. The creepy porn lawyer may realize that, too. He is vowing to appeal the ruling. We'll continue to follow this case because, honestly, we can't help ourselves. We can't look away. Democrats forecasting a blue wave of voters in November. We'll see. Some of them overtly say that illegal aliens are part of that wave. In the state of Georgia, Democratic gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams says the blue wave will include all segments of society, including, quote, those who are documented and undocumented. Illegal immigrants, of course, are not allowed to vote in federal elections, but Democrats increasingly are pushing back against that assumption. Will Juando is the Democratic nominee for Montgomery County
He
City
said that
Council
they deleted
in the
his
state
too.
of Maryland, and he joins us.
They deleted off his account. Now, I'm glad that I let the other brother speak, but yeah, they deleted the video of his account. But I can't wait for this motherfucker.
Good to be here.
So,
because I'm gonna show you how he's full of shit too. Listen, man, anything they can do. This is, you know what the problem is? A lot of these motherfuckers, they're not involved in anything. Like Hillary Clinton, he don't have Hillary Clinton's number. This nigga can't call Hillary. He can't call Hillary. Not calling this nigga. All right. No one's really, he's not really. I don't know who the fuck he is. All right. So it's not really popping. No one knows who the fuck this guy is. Tucker probably just did him such a big fucking favor. He called every one of his family members and told them he was gonna be on Fox fucking News. That's the first time I've ever seen this nigga on TV in the fucking first place. These niggas get so invested in this shit though. They double down so much. Instead of them coming out and saying, hey, people, listen. Because this is how you know they full of shit and they don't care about you. They only care about perception. In this case, with the low devils, with the little baby devils, with the worker devils. See, they not big devils. They little itty bitty little minions, little demons. We're going to call them little demons. They not devils. They demons. They work for the devils. But they don't understand. They don't understand that if it was truly about the people, then you would say, hey, look at everything that's going on. Fucking investigating the president and the people investigating the president got fucking fired for the lies that they put in the shit to have the president investigated in the fucking first place. All for a bitch that fucking basically sold out our fucking country, sold out black people, destroyed fucking Haiti. I need to remove myself from these motherfuckers. And since I'm doing this for people, since I really care about people, let me tell these people why I'm switching parties. Let me tell you, he can go independent. He can go independent. You don't have to turn Republican. He can go independent. He can vote for whoever he want when he want to. But they double down on this shit because they don't want to look like fools. Because their whole careers, they've been promising you this democratic intervention, and it has done absolutely fucking nothing but destroy everything it touches. It corrodes the shit. The Democratic Party's involvement in any fucking neighborhoods is like pouring acid on fucking plastic. Period. And instead of individuals like this brother here, like this dumbass on the television, saying, I am invested in the people because the people will see me do success. I will champion for the people because only God can lift me up to champion for people. It's not the case with these niggas, man. These niggas champion television views, accolades, and notoriety. Not realizing that when they die, there is something after this whole experience that you got while you were here to be tested. I keep finding myself wondering, why or how, and then it's like, you know the answers, Tone. These people aren't thinking in the past; they're thinking in the now. And what you don't realize is that the actions you take as of today should always reflect the things that happened yesterday. The now cannot change yesterday, but the now can change the future. We have to act in the now based on the contingency of what happened in our past. And dudes like this that get up there, just cut that shit off. Because if my shit was that light, I would just cut it all off. You know what I'm saying? They get up there, man, and they're full of shit. And Tucker stops them a couple times, but man, listen. One day Tucker just need to have me, just you know how Obama punk ass had that comedian come up and talk for him and ad lib for him. Tucker needs me to ad lib for him.
This seems like a bright red line that you would never want a foreign citizen voting in your election, would you?
Okay, so listen. You don't want motherfuckers that don't belong here voting in your vote to choose in your elections because you don't get to vote in their elections in their countries. I mean, that shit bothers you, don't it, my nigga?
Yeah, and they're not allowed to, and that's not actually what Stacey was saying.
But that's exactly what she said. That's exactly what she said. See, Tucker's supposed to stop him because that's exactly what she said.
I think it's a distraction to talk about that.
And it's not a distraction to talk about it because that's what that bitch said. That's what came out her fucking face. That's that propaganda. The same propaganda every last one of them's pushing. They're not smart enough to get away from that shit. Listen, the Democrats could have won the House and the Senate easy. All they had to do was double down and agree on what Trump said needs to be done, but then hold him up and always try to put stuff in the bill that they know Republicans won't agree on. That way they can save face and say, hey, we've been trying to do immigration. We've been trying to do DACA. We've been trying to do everything with him. It's just not working. No one would be able to really tell you what side would be holding up the progress, because if both sides was going to meetings and if the meetings were about bills, then that's the only thing we would really know about. if the Republicans don't agree on one side because they're saying, oh, something was introduced, and Democrats can say, well, shit, we agreed on everything they said in the bill. We put maybe 3-4 things in there and 2 things they absolutely don't want us to have. And it could be completely absurd. But they don't play the game of politics. They're playing the game of distraction. These people are the dumbest fucking politicians in the history of fucking in the history of government. I thought motherfuckers was dumb during Kennedy's administration. This shit here just takes the cake. I'm so past the magic bullet going through Kennedy several times, then turning in the air and going through Governor Colony and then resting in his leg and then appearing on a stretcher, clean and pristine, in the hospital. Come on, people. I'm so appalled by what the fuck I'm seeing in my very own fucking lifetime. I can't fucking understand it.
Point was the larger point that there's a lot of ways to be civically involved.
The point wasn't the larger point, and how the fuck do you know what the larger point was? Did she tell you? Did she say, listen, you going on Tucker Carlson? This is what the larger point was? I mean, are you going to say that after this? I bet you don't say that after this.
I often say voting's the end of the civic process. Before that, you ask your congressman for, or your city councilman for a sign on your street. You organize, you protest. The dreamers are a perfect example, not citizens.
Let them keep dreaming. Let them keep dreaming. Let them keep dreaming. And let their name turn from anchor babies to float babies. Because let them be born here and then float right back the fuck to where the fuck they gotta go. Thank you for the chat, Double H. Thank you for the donation. Fuck all that. Let's call them float babies. Let them fucking go and float right back to where the fuck they supposed to be. Yo, you know, the Democrats are playing the craziest game in the whole world, and it's the biggest Ponzi scheme happening in front of your face. Mexicans don't want to fucking leave Mexico to come here. There aren't a bunch of fucking people in China begging to come here. There aren't a bunch of people in fucking... There are a bunch of people in India begging to come here. Y'all can be mad at me all y'all want. I love Indians. I eat their food all the time. I have friends that's Indians. And I know a bunch of Indians. And I know a lot of them want to come here. And they literally have big-ass factories in fucking India where they have people sitting in there calling Americans every day to scam them so they can send them to fucking Walmart to get fucking gift cards and game cards and shit like that. So fuck out of here. Alright, so if you're mad at what I'm saying, fuck out of here. I don't care. You understand what I'm saying? I'm always going to be honest. Then there's dudes, and there's a ton of dudes over there who tell you they want to come over here. They're lying if they're telling you that they don't. They definitely want to come over here. The infrastructure in India is nothing like it is in America. So, but you have people in China who do not want to come to America at all, period. Why? Everything gets bootlegged there. You get it cheaper. Now, in some places, though, I ain't gonna lie, you're gonna pay a lot more money for even their bootleg versions. They're getting people in common in China, but people love it. They live there. People in Mexico are prideful. They love their culture. They love their food, their way of life. They are very, very, very national. They do not like the fact that Americans always are portraying them as someone weak trying to flee their own country. It's not the case. It's not the case. The only illegals that are listening to this shit are the ones that are here. Motherfuckers aren't in Mexico hearing this shit and saying, we're going to up and just fucking leave Mexico. Stop letting these Democrats do this shit in front of your fucking face. They keep making it seem as if they're the answers to everything and they know everything about everybody and they don't even fucking be there. Before Donald Trump got in fucking office, all those fucking babies was getting locked the fuck up. I don't even know why all of a sudden they're letting them stay with their parents for 20 fucking days. That shit turned to a vacation. You got motherfuckers coming across the border for a vacation. Period. Now, if a motherfucker in Mexico don't want to leave Mexico, but they really want a fucking vacation, guess what they can do? Cross the border. Cross the border. You get a 20-day safe fucking vacation. Pay for you and your kid. Basketball, tennis courts, all that shit. Food, everything. When does it stop? No. No fucking 3 meals a day, hot cots, basketball courts, tennis courts, and all that shit. Your ass goes to jail. That kid goes to the detention. And then we contact the family members you intended to see here. And then we give them the kid at their address, and we make it at their expense that they deport the child back or take the child back to the country where the kid is supposed to go. We make it their expense because these are the individuals that's going to harbor the fucking felons in the fucking first place. It's a federal crime. It's a felony to come here. It's a felony. And then what people don't understand is that it's not about people who need asylum, because people who need asylum can contact the government. There are so many embassies before you even get here that it's fucking ridiculous. So if you need asylum, you can go get asylum. It's definitely not about that. It's not about that at all. It's a fact that people can actually have nuclear devices on them and walk across the border and come to where your family lives and destroy a whole city. People can have bombs on them big enough with fucking barbarians. Barbarians, the balls, the metal balls. I know you seen the fucking movie. What's the movie? Blowfish or whatever this shit is. With Halle Berry and Swordfish. See the barbarians? Shit like that is real. That's real. People can walk across here with those type of intentions, pretending to be of an ethnic group, and have that shit on them, and let that shit off in the middle of fucking Times Square. Or downtown Arkansas. Or Dallas, Texas. Or in the middle of downtown Chicago. Destroying, killing countless people, maiming countless people, fucking people lives up forever, all because we want to be fucking too giving, all because we want to be too fucking giving and too fucking naive and too afraid to stand up and say, yo, hold the fuck up. You motherfuckers are doing too much. I didn't put your stupid ass in office. They're going to put me in harm's way. And why the fuck are you trying to regulate my guns and open my borders when the borders allow people to invade my village? That means you allow individuals to come and go as they please, where they can come in and rape whoever they want, kill whoever they want, rob whoever they want, take whatever they want, and then leave the country and go to their country. Fucking U-Haul full of riches. No one is stopping these people from doing this shit. No one is saying to these motherfuckers, you've gone fucking crazy. And what you're saying is stupid as fuck, and it don't make no fucking sense. Sit your stupid ass down. Who else got an idea? Instead, so we don't look bad, because it came to a point of a gang now. So because we don't look bad, we double down on ignorance. And because we're all Americans. But I'm talking about the liberals. Essentially, white liberals don't want to lose the privilege of feeling like they need to be crusaders and the saviors of all the people that they're currently oppressing. It's sick because current white liberals are living in cities that are structured around big devils that are oppressing minorities and other poor people, no matter what color they are. As long as you're there and you're poor in a democratic city, you will be oppressed. So now these white people that are living in these conditions, these white liberals are living in conditions, are seeing these people being oppressed. They're well aware that their actions are oppressing them. But instead of them blaming themselves for the policies that they keep voting on and they keep electing these officials that are doing this shit on, they continue to do so in confidence and then stand beside you and lie as if they really care. But the white guilt makes them stand outside and call black people Uncle Toms, call black people Nazis. Makes them go to a Latino senator such as Ted Cruz, and he has Latino blood in him. And you go to him, and then they call him a racist and tell him he has to leave a restaurant where he's trying to sit down with his family. They're lucky he didn't have a gun on him or decide to pull his gun out on him and shoot someone, because in Texas, you have the right to bear arms there like a motherfucker. People like this guy right here are begging to have a future inside the crab barrel.
But they've had tremendous political...
Now, you and me, you and I, us, we moving like killer whales. We moving like killer whales. They could talk about a lot of things in the sea, but a lot of things know not to fuck with that killer whale. Every threat that they say that's out there knows when they see those group of killer whales coming, not to fuck with those killer whales. Tons of sharks out there. Tons of sharks. But the thing about sharks is they drown if they stop swimming. Killer whales are very smart. I think second only to dolphins. Could be smarter. We the killer whales. So these crabs get picked up and put in buckets, and they're fighting to get to the top so they can be taken out by the Trilateral, by the Bilderbergs, and all the other pieces of shit, just so they can toss their ass in pots. You're going to do nothing but sell his own self out. These people are promised riches, and they're promised the security for their children, and so on and so forth, not realizing that at the end of the day, no one is safe if they decide to sell out. And that the best chance they have right now is standing with the amount of numbers willing and able to stand beside them and say, enough's enough. People like Snoop Dogg is so niggered out. He's so house tamed. Snoop Lion, has been declawed. What is it, neutered? What the fuck do you do to a male cat? You neuter him? What do you spade him? What do you do? Snoop Dogg is a lion, an old lion that's been declawed, neutered, had his teeth filed down, and he hasn't had any raw meat since he was a cub. That nigga is a big house cat. He's no longer a jungle lion, no longer a safari lion.
Impact on both sides of the aisle.
Why would you want someone who's here illegally, who's not supposed to be here, you didn't welcome the person, living here in violation of your laws, right, taking services illegally, using a fake federal ID, which 100% of them are. Why would you want that person influencing your political process?
Well, Dreamers have influenced it greatly.
There are 22 million illegal.
See that? See how you spell it?
There's a special legal designation for Dreamers. Fair or not, being upheld by a federal judge now. But the overwhelming majority are not Dreamers. There are 22 million illegals. That's the federal term for them. Why would you want them influencing anything about your country?
Well, if you live here, well, first of all, undocumented. I'd like to call them undocumented individuals.
You see what he's doing? Pandering right now.
Pay over $20 billion.
And we spend over $1 trillion on the same fuckers this dumbass nigga just talked about. Sitting there with the dumbass fucking Christmas elf ears with his stupid ass fucking eyes closed right now, lying. That's why he couldn't keep his fucking eyes open saying this shit.
In federal taxes, but receive no benefit.
Well, that's of course not. That's Medicare, not true at all. And actually, they receive billions in Medicare. They're in Medicaid. And, of course, the overwhelming majority of the births that they have in this country are paid for by you and me, legal citizens. So they take a lot. We educate their kids. They use our infrastructure. But the question is more a theoretical one. Why, if someone is breaking your law, would that person have a right to influence, is a citizen of a foreign country, like the Russian hackers who hacked our... No, I'm serious. It's a foreigner who's not allowed to be here. Why would that
Everyone
person...
arrived here at some point, even your ancestors, right? And
now look, you see how he tried to play the race card just now? You see how he tried to play the race card right now? That's the reason why even Fox need some new blood, man. Yo, he don't even have to be white. He just got to be willing to tell him, don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. Because my ancestors got your ass sitting in this suit right now at this table. That's what he need to say. So, fuck how we all got here. We here now, and we're all here legally. There's an established government. Let's get past that little race bait and shit you just tried. Talk to me as a fucking man. Don't throw indirect little innuendos at me. I do not appreciate that shit. I wouldn't let him get away with that shit. I don't appreciate that shit sitting here right now. Black people, you have to be able to stand on your own intellect and your own merit, and you have to get off of this fucking color guilt shit. It's not gonna fucking work. All right? At the end of the day, you have to be smarter. Your argument has to be sound. And it has to be sound that way people, even with the lowest IQ, can form just the ability to reason with you. But you cannot throw your color around as if somehow this is going to make you correct in your statement, because then it makes you flawed in every way, shape, or form after, because you base your whole fucking argument on the contingency of how right you are because of your skin. You got to grow the fuck up.
Got engaged in the civic life of their community. They went down and figured out how to have their community be safe, how to get a driver's license, how to apply for school.
But legally.
Oh, so even he's saying that people don't know how to get a driver's license and everything else.
For sure, I'm not making an argument against immigration at all. I'm just saying...
And again, they're not voting.
But is there a... but you're saying that they should have an influence on our election.
They already do. It's a fact.
But why would...
But he just said that they're not allowed to vote. But now he's telling you that they have influence on our election. How is that making sense?
Why would we want that?
Because anyone that lives here in the county is contributing to, in the country that's contributing to our democracy, has a right to be heard.
Did someone not tell this guy that shoulder pads and suits are like a real thing of the past?
So what is citizenship?
That gives you a right to vote. They don't have the right to vote, but they can participate in the civic crisis.
Even if they're human beings. Even if they're here illegally.
They're human beings that are breaking the law by being here because they didn't come here through the legal process.
Even if they're here undocumented illegally, yes, people participate in the civic process.
So do
President Trump said that dreamers can participate in the civic process.
This nigga is about to say, hype, 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 hype.
No, they're the same thing.
No, they're not at all the same thing. They are not.
Are they not undocumented illegal?
This nigga hear me talking about him right now. What the fuck? Is this nigga ears half the size of his fucking face, though? Listen, man, they get to clown this motherfuckers to get up here and just lie to you, man. Yo, man. It's sad, man, because these brothers just won't come out and just be like, yo, man, they fraud like a motherfucker. Yes, they fraud. I'm going independent. And then you know what's crazy? Is if he really wanted to be a superstar right now, all he would have to do is come out and say, fuck both of us. Fuck both of us. Fuck both sides. They argue all day. They're not getting anything right. And the president's doing what he has to do. I'm not against the president I'm not against the president doing what he got to do. I'm willing to listen to him and work with him as long as it makes sense and it's sound. If it doesn't, then I'm against that too. But he could have came in and he could have played that fine line. And he could have found himself a spot. But these Democrats are so stupid that they all have already doubled down. So going into this election, we out the clear. The spectacular superstars, none of that shit's working. Nobody's listening to them motherfuckers. No one's listening to them.
They're not here illegally
Yes,
because
they are.
President Obama made them legal temporarily, as you know.
Right.
But the 22 million are here
before that,
illegally.
they advocated to get that status,
and they
did not have that
shouldn't have
status.
gotten it. And for political reasons, the former president caved to their demands. My question is, do I have this right to go to a foreign country and demand that they change the way they govern themselves?
Oh, people do it all the time. Americans are overseas advocating for all sorts of changes in repressive countries.
Whoa.
In nations across the world.
And you think that's okay? If I show up in a country illegally, I just walk into Mexico and I say, I demand that you make accommodations for me. Do you think that's a little weird or no?
Not accommodations. What I'm saying is that we have an...
So what are we doing then? What are we doing then? These people get to sit up in front of your fucking face and do this shit, man. What the fuck is it called then, man?
Immigration debate in this country that's been going on for a long time. If you go back to President Reagan, he made a lot of people legal. All that stuff is happening.
He made a lot of people legal, and it was a huge mistake, I think. I'm not here to flack for Republicans. I'm here to determine what the truth is. And if I go to a foreign country and they say, you're not allowed to be here, and I say, shut up, racist, you have to listen to me. I demand you allow me to stay.
But no one said that here.
What do you mean?
You're saying, and no one has said that.
Are you
People are saying that shit every day.
joking?
No one said that.
We run tapes of illegal aliens all the time, burning U.S. flags, carrying Mexican flags, calling anyone.
Now watch you try to spin it. Watch this.
There's plenty of Americans that burn U.S. flags too.
Well, we're not talking about Americans who are burning U.S. flags. We're talking about illegals who are burning U.S. flags. See what I'm saying? Because it's not for the people. What he's doing is not for the people. He is not someone for the people. He's not someone concerned about the people, about the republic. He's not. He's not. Because then he wouldn't throw you under the bus. The last thing you're supposed to do as an American is throw an American under the bus, especially when you're talking about another country. You're not supposed to do that. We have Olympic Games. The Olympic Games are to determine which country is the best in what particular sport. You don't see Americans born here saying fuck our athletes going over there. That's not how that works. You don't talk bad about your country. You don't. I bet you when Michael Jordan was playing, and he was playing on the U.S. Olympic team, bet you this nigga had a pair of mics. I bet you he was running around swearing to God that niggas was the shit, and he was feeling the fuck out of himself when Magic and them was playing, and he had his time to run around and be young and blissful, full of ignorance before he decided to sell his soul. And now he's sitting here and he's basically telling you, fuck you. And that's how the Democrats feel. Every time they voice an opinion about somebody who is not supposed to be here, they're saying fuck you. Because why aren't they even talking? That should be like the last thing you're even fucking talking about, advocating for somebody fucking illegal. When you have a million fucking current problems you already gotta fucking solve. How the fuck does that go all the way from the back all the way to the fucking front? How the fuck does the rights or supposed rights of people who are not supposed to be here that are breaking the law while they're here, trumping the fact that you have people in Washington, D.C. sleeping on the fucking street? The fact that when you walk downtown L.A., you see tents up for blocks and people living in them. Why is it when you go to San Francisco, most people you come across are outside begging for cash and money? Why is it when you go to New York, the homeless are sleeping in the subways, outside on the gates, in the parks? Why is it that in New York you have more police in the black community than anywhere else? The Democrats have a plan. The plan is to do this shit to you, then turn around and blame the motherfuckers that aren't responsible and that can actually help your ass of this shit coming to an end. And no Republican Party isn't full of angels. But right now, at this particular point in time, it is the closest you're going to get to finding anything close to the American dream. We are with open arms. We don't want to fuck you up outside. We don't. I don't want to smack men in front of women. No one wants to do that. With open arms, we welcome you. Even if you don't agree with everything that's being said, let's just sit down and let's just have a real conversation. Let's talk about us as Americans. You don't think that you have a right to come before somebody who's not supposed to be here? You don't think that even if you're having a great year and financially you're stable, you don't think that there's Americans here that can actually use that help first? That are starving, losing their homes? Come on, people. I'm trying to appeal to those that consider themselves true Democrats, that respects the political process, that loves the country we live in, and that wants to protect the Constitution of the United States of America. Because these token niggas here aren't going to get you to where you gotta go. And if you need to ride this red train just for the next 6 years, until you get off at your stop, and you feel that you found somebody, then that's cool too, and I'm not even mad at you. Currently, right now, this Trump train is full express. And the shit rocking. No one is sitting down and complaining. Everyone's on the train and we're fucking dancing. The music is fucking loud. There's beer, there's weed, there's vodka. We're all having a great fucking time. And we would like for you to get on the train and have a great time with us. Because if you continue to have niggas who sit up here with these bright teeth, full of lies, the only thing your ass is going to get in the end is what happened in Nazi Germany. It's not going to be pretty for the poor people. Do you seriously want to have these people taking away your only right to defend yourself when the only thing you know is pain and struggle, when these motherfuckers have control of your fucking laws in your areas?
I agree, and I'm against it. But they're citizens. It's their country, and it's not.
So do you want to load everyone up and just ship them out?
Yeah, yes. Most of them, I think. I mean, if they're here illegally. Well, no, I guess they have a right to stay.
What's your criteria?
Well, the president said that these people have a right to stay. Okay.
The Dreamers too. If other countries had the same reservations, then I would be more inclined to listen to the whole Dreamer argument. If it was something uniformly done, that way, if people just wanted to leave their country and they did and they had children and they wanted their children to become, if this was something that was done all across the board, then I might hear it. I might not agree with it, but I might be more inclined to hear the argument. When you sit there and tell me that people can come here legally with the intentions of having kids so they can stay here from having a kid, then I'm not for that. Okay, and kids shouldn't be used in that way. That's the whole reason why I'm not for it. And it's sad that the kid has to pay for it, but the simple fact that the kid was used in the first place as a tool to be here is fucked up. It's fucked up. Bitches are having babies just so they can stay in a country. It's fucked up. You had a baby. You didn't have a baby for love. You didn't have a baby because you want to be able to give a baby love and be there for a baby. Do you know how many of these children are abused? Call me a liar. I wish you would. Sexually abused. Physically abused. Filled full of fucking medication so they can get larger fucking checks. set in low income areas where the food sources are full of artificial sugars and a whole bunch of other artificial shit that are not actually giving the kids nutrition, but giving the kids a chemical imbalance. Let me explain something to you. You are a living, breathing vessel. Okay? Actually, you're biomechanical because signals going through your body is pure electricity. But you have over 7 trillion skin cells, I believe, or something like that. And you shed about 40,000, 50,000 skin cells every day. Those skin cells that you shed are dead skin cells. Under a microscope, your skin is moving. Cells are moving. They're interacting with one another. They reproduce. They let off waste, and they also die off. So everything that you put in your body, it has to have a organic source to it. That way, your body can actually identify it and break it down. How does your body identify it? Because pretty much everything on this planet is also inside of you. Minerals, everything you can think of. It makes you up as well. So the body is able to break down signature chemicals that it knows what it is because it's already identifiable. Body works like a computer. The computers that we have around us, they mimic our bodies. When the kids aren't getting organic sources of protein and other foods that have real nutritional value and they're only getting things that are artificial, then they're not getting things that are helping you. I'm telling you. Kids start to have behavior patterns and behavior issues. It's a big problem with obesity. Why? Because the food doesn't have nutritional value. It will hold space inside the stomach. The body is still hungry because it didn't receive the proper nutrients that it was supposed to have. So the kids will continue to eat. And they will continue to eat the same sources of food that have no nutritional value. Where Democrats control anything, it is a fucking a melting pot for pure fucking mental issues. I showed you on my Instagram a woman taking her fucking baby out the backseat of her car and throwing it on the fucking floor. Getting in the car and driving on. Black, white people, Chinese people are killing fucking babies. And every time you hear these stories, it's in fucking liberal cities and controlled states. I'm telling you. When you look at white people that are depressed, when you look at the regions where you find out that they are, the regions are always in liberal cities. Go do the fucking research. More white people are depressed being liberal and won't even fucking admit it. And they're taking all this fucking frustration out on you and me because we're telling them that they're wrong and they fucking know it and don't want to admit it. It's the most childish shit that we are fucking dealing with right now. D Wolf, they have a Stargate built, brother. I don't know if you understand that. And I see where you're trying to go with it, but we have a firmament, and I don't believe that man has learned how to travel through it. And in my opinion, I don't believe that man went to the moon. I've never believed man went to the moon because we never went back. And if we had the technology to do something so long ago, why are we doing it now with the technology lapsed at? I don't believe that we went there. I believe that that was just Cold War propaganda, and you got to call it how you see it.
The federal judges upheld that. I disagree, but
You can think that I'm wrong, and that's okay. And I don't hate you because you think that I'm wrong. And I hope that you don't think me because I have my opinion. But a flag in space doesn't wave. When you're in space, you see a lot of stars. You have to. And there are a lot of stars moving constantly. You don't see that on any of the footage of the moon landing whatsoever. Period. That little ass shit looked like it couldn't lift itself off the ground. It didn't look like it could hold all the people in it in the first place. And it doesn't look like it had the ability to lift itself off that planet and have that planet and then finding itself back to Earth. And if they were able to do it so long ago, I believe they would have done it again. And also, I have a video of Buzz coming out and saying that the moon landing didn't happen. He told the little girl that it didn't never happen. She asked him why they didn't go back, and he said it didn't happen.
but that's the law.
Right.
The other law is that people who are not here legally have to leave. There are 22 million.
So if we pass the pathway to citizenship like President Bush wanted to do, and
I would oppose that, but if it were the law, I believe in the law. You guys don't.
I believe in the law as well.
Then why wouldn't we deport everyone here legally?
The lead into this story was Stacey Abrams is saying that illegal.
See what I'm saying? They switched the story. They changed the narrative.
Vote. She didn't say that, and that's what I'm.
Well, no,
no one's saying that.
I think she was saying that, but you're saying that illegal aliens have a right to influence our political process, and I'm saying we should be horrified by that prospect. Why wouldn't we be?
Everyone started here as an illegal immigrant, immigrant of some or of some.
Really? I'm looking at my stage manager who grew up in another country and came here legally.
Well, so did my dad. He came over here.
Exactly.
Even if you have people coming to this country, when the Irish came off the boats, they weren't necessarily legal. So people were not.
Yes, they were. They was legal. They had to sign, and they had to register themselves in. They had to be looked at, weighed like cattle. Every man, woman, and child. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And these are the same people that are supposed to be uplifting who? How? They don't even have a clue. And I'm sure a lot of people are out there finding this shit funny. But as Americans, they got a bunch of our brothers and sisters outside looking like damn fools, acting like damn fools, and calling for their own fucking destruction. And ours in the same fucking time.
That's the way this country.
So we have no right to defend our borders because the Irish came?
Of course we can defend them. Of course we can defend them.
Thank you for that. I wish we had more time. I think it's an interesting topic.
We'll come back.
Let me tell you how we know Trump's not racist, right? Chicago had more murders in it than Iraq and Afghanistan put together. The Dems were calling for more gun control. And Trump said no. How is this tied to everything? Guns are already illegal to have in the city in Chicago anyway. So the guns that these people have in their possession are illegal guns. So the restriction on how to get them wouldn't really matter because they're already getting them illegally. But the sure fact that in Chicago they are allowing this to happen, that it allows them to take those numbers and push for more gun restriction. So one city can affect the whole nation. And they can use their cities to make these things happen and allow these things to happen so they can have an outcry from the whole country. Every time you see a cop making a mistake or a cop just being bad and shooting or killing a black person, where were they at? Where did that man get choked out at? Where did Zimmerman go and shoot that poor little boy down? and liberal ran states, cities, and counties. They allow these things to happen in their areas so they can control legislation for the many and the very few that they oppress and they abuse. It's a fact.
Appreciate taking time out of your schedule to join us.
Only citizens should vote, though.
Amen. Hillary Clinton at it again, defending her husband after posing as a champion of women. How does that work? We'll find out from Camille Paglia. She was, by the way, Hillary, the leader of our incompetent ruling class. One of the reasons Trump said that Brett Kavanaugh could not be allowed on the Supreme Court. We had to believe his accuser, she said, even without evidence. But Clinton turns out to be one of the most self-aware politicians in this country.
And for the upcoming election, you can count on Clinton to fuck it up for the Democratic Party. The same way she fucked it up when she ran for president. The best thing for her to do was to let Bernie win like he was supposed to and become the vice president. She still would have ran the country. She still could have put pressure on him. She still could have been the boss behind everything, like Cheney was to Bush. But instead, this bitch wanted to be greedy. And instead of her grabbing Bernie and making Bernie her running mate, her vice president, she went and picked a motherfucker who you never heard of in your whole entire life. No one has never seen that motherfucker before in a Clinton photo or picture, up until the time she pulled that maggot on stage. I don't even know that piece of shit's name. I heard his last name is Kane. I call him Lorraine Kane. No one knew who Lorraine Kane was until this bitch called Lorraine Kane on stage. When both them bitches got on stage, I said, oh my God, it's heating up. The dumb shit just cannot get any fucking dumber. These people don't get it, man. And I sat back and I took my hands and I cracked them like that, and they all cracked. It was real theatric. It was like crack, 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 and I was like, and my laugh echoed. It echoed all through California, and it shook every illegal that was there because they understood what was coming. My God. And I don't mean the person that needs help, that came here and is trying to get it now and they're trying to do their thing and get to where they got to go. I'm talking about the motherfuckers that know they're absconding from justice from their countries, and they seek to come here to find people they can victimize and take advantage of and then live free off of hard-working Americans. Now, fuck that. For people that think that it's cool to take fucking machetes and hack people up while they're fucking alive, or even while they're dead. Whatever happened to the good old-fashioned one-on-one? Whatever happened to, I'm a man, you're a man. Let's talk first. And if we find ourselves in a space where we can't agree with each other and we can't walk away, then let's fight and let's have at it. Not to kill each other. But if that's what it takes to get out our aggression, as long as we can shake hands after the fact, then it's okay. It's okay. Every male animal in the wild kingdom that's in herds together sometimes bump heads. Just how hard you depend on bumping your head is on you. We got some juggernauts on our team. I'm just running around like Deadpool with the shits. We got some big juggernauts on our team. Pretty sure a lot of you think you got some juggernauts, but y'all soft. Intellectually, though, you guys have great value. You come with great ideas. We gotta train, man. This shit is plush. I'm telling you, nobody is sitting down. We up boogieing and we enjoying ourselves. Passing around beer and weed and shit. No one is is raping anyone and getting away with it. You don't have to worry about creepy old men looking at your young bodies, ladies. You can come to our team.
That's a high bar. So it wasn't too surprising that on Sunday she backtracked from this position. She told CBS that her own husband had no obligation to resign over the Monica Lewinsky scandal.
Some today have said he should have stepped down.
In retrospect, do you think Bill should have resigned in the wake of the Monica Lewinsky?
She always starts off with, this bitch be like bobblehead status. I think she might be a robot. I think this might be robot Hillary. I don't think that this is the real Hillary. I think this might be the clone that they controlling remotely. Because they be having to like catch her head. They be having to like catch her head like this gimbal right here. Like this shit right here. They be having to catch her head like this shit right here. And then she just start moving and shit like that. See, and then that's her. And then they just control her shit. Be having to have her shit on like a swivel and all that shit, and then she just start to talking to you and shit. And then when she sit there, notice is she always before she start, she always open her eyes wide because she be letting them know like, don't go too far. And then when they go too far, she be like, when she shake her head, she let them know you went too far. She let them know. I'm telling you.
In retro,
yo, listen, don't be surprised if this motherfucker end up death by suicide. And he was shot in the head with a shotgun, and the shotgun is found in Trump Tower in front of it, and someone leaves it there from a stolen car, but somehow it's still a suicide because he shot dead in his home with a shotgun. These people are crafty when they make up the shit, people. I'm just here to report this shit.
Retrospect, do you think Bill should have resigned in the wake of the Monica Lewinsky scandal?
Absolutely not.
It wasn't an abuse of power?
No.
There are people who look at
people. I mean, I said this about this bitch earlier. But God damn, this bitch don't care. I mean, and then they on tour together. You know why they going on tour? Because they got pussy throughout the United States. They need the tag team on and visit. She's sitting there in front of him with that pantsuit on, realizing she snipped a lot of niggas by the balls.
The incidents of the 90s, and they say a president of the United States cannot have a consensual relationship with an intern. The power imbalance is too great.
Who was an adult. But let me ask you this.
Who was an adult, but let me ask you this. Watch the spin.
Where's the investigation of the current incumbent?
Now, usually I tear the bitches from The View down because they are always walking around with the Hillary Bible. They are always praising their goddess Hillary for blasphemy. Today, they are starting to try to distance themselves.
Well, even the ladies of The View are not buying.
You know that The View is used as a tool by these people. So it seems as if the Clintons are on the decline, and they're no longer feeling them as they once had. They're looking for new blood, someone they can invest in now to fuck up your life. And I'm gonna tell you, you need to watch out for Gilliam of Florida. That nigga cannot be trusted. That motherfucking nigga cannot be trusted. This nigga don't got a plan. He's fucking telling you he wants to then, after he's governor, he wants to then talk to other neighboring states to help him pay for motherfuckers that aren't supposed to be in his state. He wants to ask other states to help him pay for other motherfuckers that aren't supposed to even be in his state. This nigga don't got a plan. This nigga's a dummy. A dummy. A bunch of crash dummies running around here saying a bunch of fucking crash dummy shit, expecting you and me not to catch it.
In this line of argument, instead they ripped Hillary Clinton, believe it or not, for her evasive interview tactics. Here's a selection.
What she just did is exactly what the Republicans do.
Right.
They change the subject. So that's why we never get anywhere in the discourse.
Mm-hmm. You know you have a bad argument when your immediate response is, well, they were worse. Call it out for being wrong and for being bad for all those years. I just don't think she can have it both ways.
Nina Frederick claims that Hillary tried to intimidate her into silence.
Now they want to talk about Bill Clinton's victims. Now they want to talk about Bill Clinton's victims. It is heating up, motherfuckers. Listen, okay? Listen, motherfuckers. It's fucking heating up. It's fucking red fucking hot. Alright? It's fucking red fucking hot right now, man. It is heating the fuck up. And let me explain something to you, man. It's that Wolfpack hour.
To protect the sheep, you gotta catch the wolf. And it takes a wolf to catch a wolf.
You understand what I'm saying to you? It takes a fucking wolf to catch a fucking wolf. You understand?
Make it perfectly clear. Never mind who you thought I was. I'm Rick James, bitch.
Yeah, it's time. So these no good bitches finally found the gall to go against their god Hillary. When Hillary was in front of them, they sat there and they acted as if God was sitting there amongst them. Your book. I'm sorry you lost. These bitches was pro-Hillary more than they were pro-air. And now they want to read Bill Clinton's victims off. Do you understand what the left is trying to do now? Didn't I tell you about the crabs in the barrel? So even people that's in the Trilateral Commission can be tossed in the pot. Gotta follow me, people. Told you, man. Crabs in the barrel, man.
Kathleen Wiley claims the Clintons tried to intimidate her into not telling the truth. She called Monica Lewinsky a narcissistic Looney Tune. Jennifer Flowers, some failed cabaret singer. Democrats have got to move on from the Clintons.
Camille Paglia is an author, one of the country's best-known cultural critics. She has written extensively about Hillary Clinton for more than 20 years, among many other topics. Her latest book is titled Provocations.
And you know what? With all due respect to her, she's a real feminist.
And Camille Paglia joins us today. We're honored to have you.
Me cutting a lot of feminists' ass because they're not true feminists, but she's a true feminist.
Thank you very much for coming on. So,
thank you, Tucker.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton is mentioned actually quite a bit in this book. Yes. Before I ask you broader questions about what's happening in this country, what's your reaction to her role in the kind of Me Too movement of right now?
Well, it's very ambiguous. I think that her history has been hypocritical. I was the only Democrat feminist to call for Bill Clinton's resignation, and I had voted for him twice and don't regret it. But it was a scandal, the squalor that he...
But they still doubled down, though.
Introduced into the people's house. All this was happening, the servicing of him by an intern in the White House offices.
Look how she politely said him getting his dick sucked in the Oval Office. He said of an intern servicing him as if she brought this nigga tea. As if she brought dirty dick, some Advil. You know what I mean? She came in there and got on her knees under that desk and put his dick in her mouth and sucked that shit till he bust on that fucking dress she wore. And then the bitch was smart enough to keep the dress. Take it off and hold the dress. See? Because even that bitch wasn't stupid. Gotcha.
Yes. No.
Look at the fake laugh and smile they had on that train.
Oh, it's a very good point and a good reminder. So what, as someone who's written about...
Sitting there, got his arm around her.
Sex and gender roles and our society for...
Okay, I'm going to see you later. You going to suck my dick?
So long, for many decades. What do you make of the...
Look how many times she was there. So he was just taking her on trips, busting her little young ass, fucking her little pussy up as much as he could, making her take morning after pills after every time. Dirty dick is disgusting.
Convulsion we're going through, particularly of the Me Too movement.
Well, it's great that attention is being paid to the women being abused. In 1986, I was lobbying for moderate sexual harassment guidelines at my university in Philadelphia, but I think we've gone a bit too far here. I think that fundamental civil rights involving the presumption of innocence have to be considered. So what I espouse as a feminist is that women themselves must take charge of their own interactions with men. They must signal at the time that something is unacceptable. This
is the reason why I said she's a true feminist. Because she gave no excuses whatsoever. She gave only accountability. Meaning that women are smart enough to make their own decisions and not be made into a victim as soon as they do something they know they shouldn't have done in the first place.
Waiting 10 years, 20 years, 30 years this is not only not American, it's Stalinist.
But women were told again and again by...
That's a Democrat that just said that. That is Stalinist. That's a Democrat that just said that.
People who claim to empower women are themselves powerless and can't. They can't say anything because they're so lacking in power.
Nonsense.
Okay.
No, working class women, yes, may be so dependent upon a job that they cannot protest. But as I have written, there's no excuse for well-educated, upper-middle-class professional women to let offenses to their dignity go by. You must draw the line when it happens. It's absurd that you feel too powerless. You can't complain. These people, women who say that, are simply putting the career advantage over the larger question of feminist issues and the protection of women.
That's why she's a true feminist.
You've written so much about, just be blunt, about sex for all these years. What do you make of seeing your,
right,
I guess,
let's hear some lies.
so amped?
Let's hear some lies. I got to, because every time they have him on, I get, I crack up and I get to get my shit off. So let's
Hating
go.
Trump is the one thing that holds them together. But the vast majority of them
let's go with Dumbo Face.
Think the president should be impeached. For what? Doesn't matter. Being a bad guy. In November, if they take the House, they probably will have no choice but to go for impeachment, whether they have a good reason for it or not. Everybody knows this. Richard Goodstein is an attorney and former advisor to Bill Hillary Clinton. And he joins us today. Now, Rich, let me just say, I'm pretty sure you're against impeachment, okay? Because you were here for the whole Clinton impeachment. You saw how it hurt the Republicans. You don't like Trump, but you also know there's no actual high crime or misdemeanor for which you could impeach him. It's insane. But you also know your base, and you know they are insane. So how is the Democratic Party going to keep from being driven by its own lunatic voters if they take the House?
Well, just for the record, I actually think it's not just high crimes and misdemeanors, it's treason, bribery, high crime. I actually think that the universe of things that we could go after, but let's have that.
So having a press conference with Vladimir Putin could get you impeached.
I think if he knew about the fact that close family members were consorting with the Russians during the campaign, yeah.
Consorting with the Russians.
That's another discussion.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is...
The spin.
The Democratic...
That's another discussion. Why even bring it up? See what I'm saying? That's what I would have said. If it's not even a discussion, why bring it up? What Russian? What Russian diplomat? How? Because then you got to prove what you're saying. That's another discussion. Why bring it up now?
Leaders are pushing off discussion of impeachment because they're going to win on health care and on the issue of do you contain Trump or do you enable him? And I think
they ain't going to win on shit. Democrats ain't going to win on a goddamn thing. Nothing.
Most people want to contain him. Look, the fact is, in 2014, most Republicans wanted to impeach Obama, and that didn't cause the Republican leaders to go after impeaching him then.
Oh, I remember that. That's when they were surrounding Democratic lawmakers in restaurants and pounding on the front doors of the Supreme Court and screaming like wild animals and shooting people with bear spray in the streets of Portland, where the Republicans were... yeah, it's all coming back. I mean, come on. There's no comparison between the
You
lunatic.
see Dumbo face? They don't care about people, man. They care about perception. They care about what they can trick the people into thinking. They don't care about what they can do to care for the people.
Lunacy on display on the left. It's a threat to you, as you know. And what the Republicans are up to, like, they can't control those people. They're not controlling them now.
I would say there's no comparison to locking up babies in cages with anything that Barack Obama did. That's what irritated people that surround people in restaurants. Look, here's what the Democrats are going to do.
Do you see how you just tried to throw that out there? Bullshit.
If you really want to know.
Babies are being put in cages?
On the Mexican border. But again, another discussion. I think what's going to happen is there are going to be public hearings like Watergate on the Russian attack, on the emoluments, on obstruction of justice, on tax fraud, money laundering, bank fraud, on a series of things. I don't think they're going to be going after impeachment because I think politically they realize they couldn't clear the Senate, and they frankly rather have a weakened Trump to run against than.
Wait, so can I ask you a sincere question? Do you really think after 2 years of talking about Russia, when Russia poses no actual threat to us, the threat is China and Google? I mean, there are real threats. Russia's not in the running. Do you really think they're going to have hearings on Russia? Do you think that helps them to talk more about Russia and Vladimir Putin and treason? I mean, honestly, you think they would do that? That's so nuts.
Maybe China got a counter plan. Maybe China went to Google and said, we want to just take it over, but we'll let you run the United States. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
I think Trump appointed officials at the top of our intelligence community. You've heard about this Pompeo fellow. Remember, he used to be head of the CIA. He said that the Russians attacked the United States and posed a threat to us.
I don't care what Pompeo says. Do you really think that we need more hearings on Russia? Russia? Honestly?
I absolutely think.
Are there a lot of voters who want that?
I think all these people that testified behind closed doors in the House and even the Senate should, like the Watergate hearings, that's what the public's going to know.
He has nothing to talk about.
What really happened. And I think the Mueller report, frankly, will lack that. It will lack kind of the face and the immediate.
Now, the Mueller investigation won't be enough. But this the same piece of shit that told you that Mueller needs to continue his investigation not so long ago. That picking Mueller was a great idea because he would get to the bottom of it fast. He's one of the people praising the idea.
Immediacy of what the public hearings would do. So, yes.
So you're saying the Mueller, an independent investigation that extends beyond 2 years is not enough. We need more hearings about Russia. You really, and you think the public's going to say, thank heaven we elected the Democrats. I want to hear more about Russia. You really
I would be more attentive to that chart. I would be more attentive to the charge about how long Mueller's going on. If there was a single Republican that complained when Ken.
Yo, man, people are fucking lost, man.
Starr went beyond year 2, 3, 4, etc. So yes, I actually think the public is owed a public hearing and showing about what happened. I don't think they haven't gotten that yet.
I know out there throughout the fruited plains, people are grateful that we're going to keep talking.
Motherfucker's a piece of shit. Sitting there smiling, all because he was just taking a question and throwing it back with another question and all bullshit facts so he can sell you the fuck out and continue to live comfortably.
Talking about Russia!
You got it.
Into the next one.
People, you gotta find some readiness. It's time for us to get up and go vote. It's time for us to make these people cry some more. And some of them are actually going to vote for us. Just be prepared, man. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Shout out to all my fucking moderators. I would put up the number, but people be scared to call in and talk. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end it for the night. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay American. Fuck the other side, bitch. We don't care.